an in-house maintenance team, RE is here for you in every capacity. Whether you're a seller, a buyer, an investor, or a renter, we can help. Please explore our website at reagroupok.com. REA Real Estate Group, the gold standard of real estate.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
Mike Steele here for Lasher Home Comfort Systems, your trusted home comfort experts in the Oklahoma City metro area. Tim Lasher and his team have more than 130 years of combined experience. They recognize a significant number of homeowners live with inadequate home comfort systems. They specialize in diagnosing your home system issues while providing more efficiency and reducing your utility costs. As an authorized dealer of American Standard, Tim can service your residence or business. Call Tim and his team at 405-579-3113. Lasher Home Comfort Systems.
Teddy Lehman.
I thought this was just one of the more fascinating things I've ever seen.
And Tyler McComas.
That to me is that's unbelievable.
Telling it like it is, whether it's what you want to hear or not.
I think there's some truth to that, but I still think you're a total homer. But yeah, I think there is some truth to that.
Teddy Lehman and Tyler McComas. The Rush. Weekdays from 3 to 6 on the home of Sooner fans. The Ref Sports Radio Network. The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wing Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
There are, I think, three main storylines with the OU football program rolling into today. And Parker Thune is going to rank all three of those in order from most relevant to least relevant. The three main storylines are, hey, who's going to be the next offensive coordinator? Storyline number two is, hey, is Michael Fasusi really going to decommit and go to Texas or Texas A&M? Storyline number three, oh, yeah, we play Alabama on Saturday.
You just ranked them, Tyler. You left me no work to do.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was 1, 2, 3. And as enthusiastic as I said, each one of those probably matches up as well. I mean, isn't it insane? I think once Saturday gets here and maybe even tomorrow, we're going to, maybe get more and more excited about this game. But it's two freaking Blue Bloods in Norman, Oklahoma, OU and Alabama. I think that's pretty cool. I'm excited for the game. But, yes, I'm like many out there that I'm also very interested in talking about this OC situation and the Michael Fasusi situation. So it's just crazy, though, that OU and Alabama before the year we were looking forward to this home game more than any other, and it may be like the third biggest storyline at this point, Parker. Man.
It very well may be. And to go straight to the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439, let's start with the offensive coordinator search because Past My Prime on the text line has made an interesting point. He says, I'm torn. Just saw an interview with Ben Arbuckle. His voice sounds like a mini mule shoe.
Oh, no.
Even does the half-closed mouth talking.
No.
It is exciting if he is an offensive genius like Mule Shoe, but also makes me want to throw up because he reminds me of Mule Shoe.
Oh, why'd you have to say that?
Do they all talk with their mouths half closed out there in West Texas?
Does every time, even Ben Arbuckle, every time he gets asked a question, does he go, and then think about it for like 5 seconds? You notice that? Did he say we're close quite a bit? Did he say that after the frickin' New Mexico loss last Saturday? Talking about how close they are? Great. I don't know if I can handle all that once again.
As long as he's the offensive coordinator, that's fine. The head coach, different conversation.
Well, we did think 24 hours ago that, hey, it's starting to feel like maybe Ben Arbuckle, we got a long way to go here. A lot can happen. Maybe Ben Arbuckle is starting to feel like the leader, and I don't know if my mind has changed on that in the past 24 hours. I mean, I'll just tell you, I don't think that it has. But something very interesting happened yesterday that, from surface level doesn't feel like it would affect OU that much, but I don't know, potentially it could. I'm not ready to totally write off Dan Mullen and say that he has a 0% chance to get this job. That OU 0% chance wants him, or he 0% chance would accept this if it was offered to him. But the fact that Mac is staying at North Carolina, it's at least a little bit interesting, right? And we'll see if North Carolina actually wants to bring Mac back or not.
Uh-huh.
But that's at least one job that you would think Dan Mullen would take if he was offered, and that one seemingly could be off the board. And it kind of leads to a bigger discussion. What jobs are going to be open this offseason? I mean, it's college football. There will be a job that we're not thinking about right now that will eventually be open. But I saw a report yesterday that if Arkansas beats Louisiana Tech, Sam Pittman's back. Billy Napier, the AD, has already said that he's going to be back, right? LSU's not firing Brian Kelly. The buyout's too big. Brent Venables is going to be back next year. There will be jobs that probably end up being open that we're not thinking about right now. But, Parker, it doesn't seem like there's just going to be a ton of P4 big-time jobs that he would want that are necessarily going to be open this offseason. So I just wondered how that kind of affects his entire sweepstakes here.
Yeah, well, and, the big variable here, the big question is, and obviously, Tyler, if Dan Mullen reciprocates the interest in accepting the job, then he's the guy you want to hand the reins to. With all of the experience that he has in the SEC, 2 national championships as a play call. Like, he's very objectively the most qualified candidate of the candidates we have discussed. But it's very clear he would rather be a head coach than an OC. And so if he's waiting, and he's waiting, and he's waiting till early December to try and see if there are going to be any head coaching opportunities offered to him at the P4 level, that might be too late for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
In fact, that probably is too late for Oklahoma.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to guess that they would like to get someone announced before signing day, which is 13 days from now, wouldn't you think? Ideally, with kind of where they're at with, Cortez Mills and Michael Fasusi, and maybe just the class in general on the offensive side, they would like to get that offensive coordinator hire figured out before early signing day happens in 13 days. So got to move pretty quick if that's the case. And another question that I have for Dan Mullen, and you and I have already talked about that, is like what is his timeline? Is he willing to sit on the sidelines for another season next year to be a head coach? You know what I'm saying there? Like, is he willing to wait so long for a head coach opening that all the offensive coordinators, situations that are really good end up passing him by? Is it head coach or nothing for Dan Mullen? Or does he get to a point where he says, okay, this OC offer is too good. I've got to accept this right now. I mean, he's probably got a lot to think about over the course of the next couple of weeks, exactly what he wants to do. Is it head coach or nothing? Or is he willing to accept an OC job somewhere? Because someone will hire him as an OC if he wants to be one.
Recruiting Boomer continues to bring up, to me, the most irrelevant details surrounding Dan Mullen, even if it were true. He says, Dan Mullen ain't a recruiter. I'm good. Let's get the Wazoo OC and move on. Again, if Dan Mullen is your offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, he is responsible for recruiting one kid every year.
Yeah.
All he has to do is recruit the quarterback. So if the argument is Dan Mullen ain't a recruiter, I would point you to the fact that every single year that he was the head coach at Florida, the Gators signed a top 15 class. So he's a good enough recruiter. But even if he himself doesn't like recruiting, he can recruit one dude a year. Well, I don't think that's going to be too much on the man's plate.
And I don't think he's going to be here long enough for us to really be concerned about his recruiting efforts one way or the other.
Exactly.
And that's a turnoff for some people, the thought that he wouldn't be here very long, and you just have to basically do now next year all over again, all of that. But I don't think Dan Mullen would have much of a too many recruiting wins or losses if he were to end up here. Eric in Dallas says, hey, guys, why not hire Arbuckle? And if Dan doesn't get a head job, pay him $2 million to be the analyst because there will be head jobs available next season. $2 million
A
to be
$2
an
million
analyst.
analyst.
I don't know, man.
Really?
Eric, that's some coin right there, dude.
By the way, this has started to create some tremors on social media,
Ooh,
and
okay.
I see that it has now made it to the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. There is a lot of noise, Tyler, that one Malachi Coleman might be bound for the transfer portal.
Yeah, I saw that last night. A lot of Nebraska reporters putting that out.
Well.
He redshirted last year, right? And he can't officially enter into the portal until, next month? But, yeah, I had that down on the rundown sheet today. By all accounts, Nebraska people expect him to enter into the portal. You think he's OU bound or what?
And here's the thing. You go back to the recruiting process for Malachi Coleman. He committed and signed with Nebraska in the first place because it was the easy way out. He wanted Oklahoma at first. Wanted to be a Sooner. The Sooners backed off. He picked Nebraska. Mickey Joseph gets fired. He decommits, goes back on the open market, and he was this close, Tyler, this close to committing and signing with Colorado instead of Nebraska. But for his family's sake, decided, you know what, I'll be a Cornhusker. So he locks in with Nebraska on early signing day, ends up a Husker, but here we are 2 years later, and he's on the verge of getting in the transfer portal. If that does happen, you would expect that Colorado will be heavily involved.
Yeah.
Would Oklahoma get involved? Since it has become apparent that Malachi Coleman is a wide receiver and not a tight end, it wouldn't be Joe John Finley recruiting him to the University of Oklahoma. If Oklahoma decided to kick the tires, it would be Emmett Jones. And here's what I know. Here's what I know for a fact, Tyler. There's going to be an emphasis on recruiting sizable, speedy wide receivers out of the portal this offseason for Oklahoma. Who fits that bill?
Not 5'9", 5'10" receivers running around. They don't want that. Like we've looked at lineups.
How about a
sometimes
6'5" dude who runs a 4.42? That interest you?
Yeah, potentially.
Going to move the needle?
Yeah. OU Hex says, can Coleman block a paper sack? If so, he's an upgrade. So these are the types of things that the staff needs to think about.
Can he play right tackle?
Oh, boy, that's very nice. If Arnold starts, we are doomed, says a texter from the 405. Jimmy in BA says, my bet is that BV will hire someone that has not even been discussed. Okay, I'll play your game, Jimmy. Let's think about that for a second as it pertains to the offensive coordinator hire. Let's think about names that really haven't been discussed all that much. That clearly has not been Arbuckle. That clearly isn't Dan Mullen. That clearly isn't Joe Craddock. Colin Klein, we've mentioned him. I don't know if you want to throw him in the conversation or not. Cade Bell at Pittsburgh. Is that kind of where we're going if we're talking about they hire someone that really hasn't been discussed? Like that's not a name that's been brought up until recently.
Yeah, that might be the deep sleeper of the group is Cade Bell. But if you hired a guy like Cade Bell, would he bring Eli Holstein with him perhaps? Maybe that's a factor in the equation. Cherokee Sooner said, can Malachi Coleman hang on to the daggum ball?
I sure hope so.
Frisco Sooner says, guys, maybe he's the best we can do, but I just don't have any faith in Arbuckle. Sheesh. And apparently, I don't know who they is, but Sooner JJ says they have Caden Woolard as the second biggest bust out of last year's portal.
Yeah, I don't know who they is in reference to either. But
and
okay.
I want to go back to this text, though. Burley Boomer said, let me ask, Mullen clearly dislikes recruiting. What would be reasons for wanting a head coaching job? Ego, money? If it's money, let's make him the highest paid OC of all time. Well, let me ask you this, Burley Boomer. How can you say Dan Mullen clearly dislikes recruiting? Because, again, has Dan Mullen ever said that? Have the results on the recruiting trail ever borne that out? Let me give you an example of a head coach that doesn't like recruiting. Mike Gundy doesn't like recruiting. And it shows in the results because Oklahoma State signs like the 65th ranked class in the country every single year. Again, Dan Mullen was the head coach at Florida for 4 years. He signed 4 top 15 classes. So this narrative that Dan Mullen doesn't like recruiting, I mean, I don't know what goes on in Dan Mullen's head. I don't claim to know what he likes and doesn't like about the job. What I do know is that if he doesn't like recruiting, for somebody that doesn't like it, he's still pretty dang good at it.
Yeah, and again, it just goes back to the discussion of he's going to have to recruit one player a year. Now, that one player a year is going to be very, very important, but I'd almost just want to put that aside for a second. Like, okay, let's evaluate. Let's talk about it this way, Parker. I don't know if we've really broke it down this way yet with the offensive coordinator. I don't care if it's Dan Mullen. I don't care if it's Ben Arbuckle. I don't really care who it is as the next OC. In terms of the hierarchy or how you want to rank them of the most important things for the next offensive coordinator, I'd say getting a quarterback would be very high on that list, or evaluating a quarterback that you really like to run your system, implementing your system. There's, to me, for the offensive coordinator next year, and I'm not talking about 2 or 3 years from now, I'm talking about this offensive coordinator hire this offseason. I'm not saying that recruiting is not important. Recruiting is always important. But, Parker, that doesn't rank in terms of the most important things for me for the next offensive coordinator. What the next offensive coordinator has to do is find a quarterback who's good, implement his system, and put an offensive product out on the field that's considerably better than this year, and an offensive product that helps save Brent Venables' job. Recruiting is important, yes. It's not the most important thing when we're talking about this OC hire. Get someone to me that you feel like is going to turn around the offense right away in year one. That's what's important to me. And I think Dan Mullen could do that. I think Dan Mullen would be highly qualified to do that. He stays here 1 year or not.
Here's the conspiracy theory. Patrick says, Mike Gundy retires, Dan Mullen becomes the head coach at Aggie State.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like I said, there will be a head coaching job open that maybe we're not thinking about right now. It is college football, but not a whole lot of them open right now. Alex from Manford says, I watched Cade Bell's offense against Clemson this past weekend, and I kid you not, look it up, they had 1st and goal, and they had a delay of game and 3 false starts in a row. Not Bell's fault, I'm sure, but it was so wild to see. Had to settle for a field goal. He'll fit in right here, man.
I was about to say, boy, I tell you what, he gonna fit in at the University of Oklahoma.
Hey, they at least got a 1st and goal. That'd be improvement, right? Let's go.
Baby steps. Gunny of Stutzman Army says, serious question, fellas, is the Bama horse guy in the portal yet? Who is the Bama horse guy?
Bama horse guy? I don't know who he's referencing there. I've seen a couple of players from was it Jaheim Otis? Was he from Alabama? Right? I don't know. You got to be more specific there, Gunny. We can get back to that one. Okay. 405. Any chance BV gets someone from the NFL to be OC? That's from Cade the Rancher. I wouldn't think so, Cade. I haven't heard any NFL names whatsoever. It feels like they're going to stay in college football. Because here's another thing about getting someone from the NFL is if you want to get someone from the NFL, you think you might have to wait a while for some of these other OC candidates? Like a guy that's with an NFL team right now, you'd really have to wait a long time to hire that guy as offensive coordinator if you're going to hire him at the end of the NFL season. They're not going to wait that long. They'll go get someone that's currently coaching in college football. Or maybe on ESPN, I guess, in Dan Mullen's case. Okay, you guys are all over the text line as always. Appreciate that. 405-651-3439. Okay, I know who they're talking about now, the horse guy. You can search that at your own risk. I should have known. I should have known. Yes, it is very tawdry. I don't know if the story is true, but I did see the story a couple of days ago. I should have known. Why'd I even bring that one up? More to come next. More OC talk. Michael Fasusi. More OU right here on the Ref. Orange Down Apple Pie liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural, 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the Yums because Spike was safe, Horns Down Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Horns Down celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Streak, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
anywhere else, the place to go is the Jimmy Austin OU Golf Club.
It's football time in Oklahoma. While you enjoy the game and tailgate, let Scissortail Roofing and Construction handle your roofing or construction project from start to finish. Whether it's a damage from a storm or a full construction project, we have you covered. Call us today at 405-928-8089 or visit us online at scissortailroofing.com for a free estimate. Hit by hail? Call Scissortail today, your trusted local roofing and construction company.
Signature Custom Pools creates more than just stunning pools. We create unforgettable memories. Our expert team designs unique, luxurious pools tailored to your vision and ensuring exceptional service every step of the way. Dive into elegance and make lasting memories with those you cherish the most. Plan now for next season and call Signature Custom Pools for a free consultation today at 405-898-9098 or visit them online at signaturecustompools.com today.
It's the biggest event of the year. The Black Friday sales event is happening now at Lander CDJR of Norman. This Black Friday, shop up to $18,000 off of new 2024 Ram 1500 or $15,000 off of new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Visit us at Lander CDJR of Norman or check out the deals online at landercdjrnorman.com. Hurry in because these deals won't last long. 2024 Ram 1500 AWD, stock number RN207871. 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited AWD, stock number RC105355.
This holiday season, visit Cadoodles, Norman's only locally owned toy store. Don't know what to buy? Let our elves find the perfect gifts, like silent basketballs, licensed OU, NBA, NFL, and MLB items, science kits, soft snowballs, and Brio dinosaur trains, and so much more. We have free gift wrap and curbside service. Visit Cadoodles at 2001 Main Street in Carriage Plaza. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5:30, and Saturday, 10 to 5. Or call 405-360-TOYS. Remember, Cadoodles, the toy store with the little door. Shop local this Christmas at Cadoodles.
Open enrollment for individual medical coverage is underway. Now through December 15th, you'll need to pick a new plan or update your income to avoid tax penalties. If you're uninsured, this is the only time to buy individual medical plans for 2025 without a qualifying event. Call the agents at Allison Insurance at 405-745-2968 or at 800-580-5587. It won't cost anything and could save you a lot. Allison Insurance. They are the experts.
Discover the path to sobriety, emotional well-being, and lasting positive change with the Virtue Center, a nonprofit serving Oklahoma since 1972. Specializing in addiction, gambling, and mental health-related services, we offer same-day walk-in screening appointments Monday through Friday and serve ages 12 and up, as well as individual clients or families. Give us a call at 405-321-0022 or visit thevirtuecenter.org to learn more.
Mike Steely here. If you or someone you love been diagnosed with cataracts, well, congrats are in order. Why? Because it's not about just seeing clearly again. It's about a life change. And my man, Dr. B, is here to transform your vision. You could go anywhere for cataract surgery, but why settle? With Dr. B, you've got the chance to not just remove the cataracts, but also to say goodbye to those glasses for good. Give Dr. B a call at 405-755-7700 or visit alcok.com today. Experience the difference with Dr. B and see the world like never before.
Locked in with McComas and Thune, live on the ref for the Homo Sooner fans. Tyler McComas, Parker Thune, Ref Army, listening worldwide via the free KREF app. Just search KREF in the App Store. Sioux City, Iowa is tuned in today. Centennial, Colorado. Corona, California. Holton, Kansas. Bay City, Michigan. Hoover, Alabama. St. Augustine, Florida. Knoxville, Tennessee. And Woodward, Oklahoma. Ref Army Locator brought to you by Horns Down Apple Pie. If you're watching our YouTube live stream, you can see the Horns Down Apple Pie right here. Delicious. Dink and Addison have done a fantastic job with Horns Down Apple Pie, located in 85 locations throughout the state of Oklahoma. Stock up for game day. OU and Bama coming up on Saturday, 6:30 on ABC. Let me get to a few texts, and then we'll get to some Michael Fasusi, and then we'll get back to the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. GB from the 918 said, I would bet Venables already has his OC. Reason, he will have to be getting in touch with recruits to keep them in the class before signing day, We really haven't had any decommits. Thoughts? It is interesting that the entire offensive class knows that there's going to be a new OC hire.
Yep.
Yet, I'm sure they don't know exactly who it is. Like, that's got to be, like, to GB's point, that's got to be a very kind of interesting situation for the class right now. And you commit for other reasons to a school than just the offensive coordinator. But I think ideally, yes, they would make this hire before signing day and be able to announce it before signing day. The problem is it's in 13 days, and what, your season's over in 10 days? Regular season's over in 10 days, I guess?
9 days.
9 days, yeah. So you'd have to get on the move pretty quick to make that happen.
Yeah, and again, that's why this period is crucial, because if Dan Mullen is the guy you want, if you want to broker the deal with Dan Mullen, then you got probably another week to bring it together, bring it to completion, because if not, and he still wants to wait on a head coaching opportunity, then you got to hurry up and you got to lock things in with Ben Arbuckle or Joe Craddock or Cade Bell, whoever you want to go to at that point, whoever you want to hand the job to. You got to move fast, because virtually no time can elapse, Tyler, between the end of the Oklahoma regular season and the hiring of the new offensive coordinator. With signing day on December 4th, time is of the essence.
Eric in Dallas says, everything Klatz. Am I reading the right one, Eric in Dallas? No, let me go back to Eric in Dallas. Man, let's just hire Ben Arbuckle and get it going. It will be a genius move, young and aggressive. I think, okay, so there, Eric is clearly in the corner of Ben Arbuckle. And those people definitely exist. I don't know if it's 50-50 or what it is with the fan base. But I think the people that want Ben Arbuckle use that, young and aggressive. I think there's a lot of upside with this hire. Parker, there's a lot of people, though, and I get this point. I definitely do. There's a lot of people nervous about the Ben Arbuckle hire just because there isn't a ton of experience there calling plays, what he's called plays for 3 years now, I think. He's young, and there's the thought of, is Brent Venables really going to kind of, trust his career, essentially, with the guy who's going to be about 30 years old by the time he gets here? There's some concerns there with a lot of the fan base when it comes to Ben Arbuckle. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say I totally blame someone if they think that way.
A 580 listener says, Gabe reported on their podcast today that their hopes are to have an OC in place on Monday, December 2nd. And, yeah, I've kind of said all along, be very surprised if it takes more than 48 hours after the conclusion of
that'd be the Monday after the LSU game, right?
Yeah. I mean, it has got to happen by then.
Zach from Guthrie, would recruiting even matter for Mullen? Surely they would know he probably won't be there by the time they enroll. I think it'd be a very minimal part of the job for Dan Mullen. I'm not to say that it would matter 0% or anything like that, but he'd be there to fix the offense and save Brent Venables' job. That's what he would be there to do. Down South Sooner fan says, if Arbuckle would become our new OC, I would like to see what he can do to adjust the offense to run pass type. Also, thoughts he would keep DeMarco Murray and maybe work with him to help mold the run mix into the offense. So there's a lot there by Down South Sooner fan. Would he keep DeMarco Murray? Yeah, I think that Ben Arbuckle would keep DeMarco Murray. In fact, Parker, you may disagree with this, but if Ben Arbuckle is the hire, I don't feel like he would – I don't feel this way. I don't know. I haven't been told this. But I don't feel like he'd come in and say, all right, DeMarco, want him gone. Bill Bedenbaugh, want him gone. Emmett Jones, want him gone. I don't think necessarily that Joe John Finley would be here next year if Ben Arbuckle was the hire.
I noticed you didn't mention Joe John Finley.
Well, I don't think that would be his decision, but I don't think that Arbuckle would be coming in ordering like, oh, I'll come here, but as long as that guy's here, I'm not coming to OU.
Yeah, I don't think a guy like that has that kind of leverage. Dan Mullen might.
Sure.
Like if you hire Dan Mullen like that, that might be another thing along the way that has to get discussed with Dan Mullen. If Dan Mullen's like, I want to bring my own staff for this position, and this position, and this position, well, then you got to reconcile that with the guys that you currently have on staff and whether you're willing to part ways with them. But Ben Arbuckle, 29 years old, about to jump into, like hypothetically here, about to jump into his first P4 gig as an offensive coordinator. I guess it depends on whether you consider that Washington State was still technically a P5 program last year. Regardless, he's probably not somebody that you're going to give that type of latitude to.
What if Dan Mullen came in and said, I want Tim Tebow as my tight ends coach?
Yeah, I'm out on that.
No Tebow tight ends coach. Okay, I've got you down for that.
You know what? If that happens, we'll just have Ted coach tight ends, and Tebow can move to the booth.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. YouTube live chat. Mark says, please no Mateer. That's like a poor man's Tanner Mordecai. First I've heard of that. Topher B says, I'll take Malachi Coleman. Patrick says, Mateer has thrown for 2,700 yards, rushed for 700. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Mark responded with, yeah, at Wazoo playing Mountain West team. So we got a bit of an argument going on right now on the YouTube live chat. Brian says, what air raid systems have won in the SEC? Air raid systems, there's been a lot of spread offenses that have thrown it around quite a bit that have won national championships more than you think. Heck, Alabama over the course of the past, 15 years, has probably been thought of the most in terms of great defense, great running game, just tough, hard-nosed football. Parker, it wasn't that long ago where an Alabama wide receiver won a Heisman Trophy.
That did happen.
Now, they also had Najee Harris in a really good run game as well, but 2019 LSU was throwing it around quite a bit. Of course, that Alabama team in 2020 that I just referenced. There are clearly teams throwing it all over the place right now, but you're going to have to have a physical element to your run game, and I would hope that would be the case, whoever the next OC hire is.
By the way, people are already hoping Arbuckle brings the whole cavalry with him. There was a listener in Tennessee that said, Washington State has a 6'5", 314 right tackle named Fa'alili Fa'amoe, who is a multi-year starter and 2024 preseason Outland Trophy watchlist guy. Maybe he comes with Arbuckle and Mateer as well?
We're just going to raid the entire roster now? Jeez.
The Oklahoma Cougars.
I mean, maybe that's what happens, man. Just take all the well, we wanted your offensive coordinator. Now we're just going to pick and choose every single player that we want on the roster now. Big Rich in OKC says the Arbuckle offense will attract quarterbacks and wide receivers.
And it will. That's what air raid offenses do. Elite quarterbacks, elite wide receivers. Generally, they demonstrate a propensity to want to play in air raid type schemes. Alex from Manford says, a lot of people are saying we need someone with SEC experience, and Arbuckle doesn't have that. To that, I say, blah, blah, blah. Out of all the possible OCs out there, tell me which one has SEC experience. You can say Craddock, but his offense now is way different than the one he had at Arkansas, so who knows if it'll work in the SEC. Have to start as an OC in the SEC to have SEC experience, in my opinion.
What do you think? Agree?
Yeah, we get too caught up in, well, has it worked in the SEC before? Has it happened in the SEC before? I mean, Alabama didn't have that concern when they went and hired Kalen DeBoer this last offseason, Tyler. And I'm firmly of the opinion that if your offense works, it can work anywhere, provided you have the personnel and you're adaptable in your scheme. For instance, you remember when Tua Tagovailoa in Alabama just completely revolutionized offense in the SEC? I mean, the SEC as a conference was not known for high-octane offenses until Tua in Alabama. Everybody remembers Joe Burrow in LSU in 2019, and that's the best offense college football's ever seen. But the precursor to that was Tua and Alabama in 2018 when they were going bombs away all year.
And I think they changed the rules, right? Isn't that around the same time? Like they changed – I think they changed rules with the hurry-up offenses and everything, and Saban said, all right, this is for sure what you guys want. You guys want to change the rules. This is what you want. I just want to make sure. Because we're going to do it, and we're probably going to do it better than anyone else, but just to make sure this is what you guys want to do, okay. And then Alabama, to your point, kind of really adapted their offense moving forward after that. Yeah, for sure. Michael Fasusi. So there's not – I haven't seen any predictions for a flip for Michael Fasusi. Have you? Any prediction flips to Texas or Texas A&M?
No predictions yet.
So this isn't an official flip prediction, but I believe it's Sam Spiegelman of Rivals has like 3 predictions in recruiting in college football that he thinks will happen. Texas will flip 5-star offensive tackle from rival Oklahoma, says Spiegelman. Says he's scheduled to return to Texas this weekend. committed to OU since August. First trip to Austin since his pledge back to the Sooners in August. Sark was at his school last month. Longhorns have continued to chip away in this one. Fasusi was originally scheduled to be in Norman. No program has worked harder to change Fasusi's mind over the past few weeks than Texas, and this visit should be a precursor to what's ahead. The Longhorns were trending at multiple junctures of Fasusi's recruitment and are heating up at the right time ahead of National Signing Day. I don't want a National Signing Day where that ends up in a flip. God, that would be miserable. It would be awful.
Yeah, that would be Cecilia Kana times 50, wouldn't it?
Oh, man. Times 50. I don't know, maybe even more than that.
It was funny how you remember when Cecilia Kana picked Texas over Oklahoma on signing day. Everybody was just miserable because that was hours on the heels of Peyton Bowen picking Oregon. And then, of course, Peyton Bowen signed with OU the next day, and then nobody spoke to Celia Kana's name for months afterward because there was just so much revelry over the Bowen recruitment.
You know, I was on air during all of that saga, 2 days. All of that unfolded on air for every single bit of it.
Yep.
And I don't, you're saying that about Cecilia Kana the next day, and I agree, but I think even the previous day, we were already so numb about the whole Peyton Bowen thing. You didn't even have a hat on the table. Wow, how much chance did they really have? That by the time that Cecilia Kana committed to Texas early in the day, it was just like, oh my God, whatever. Worst day ever. But that was a crap day. But a pretty amazing following day when Peyton Bowen decided he's coming to Oklahoma.
And Cecilia Kana really hadn't done a whole heck of a lot at Texas. So
no.
Haven't missed out on much yet.
Recruiting boomer, we lose Fasusi, and Biedenbow needs to be executed. Oh,
wow.
Geez. Wow. Okay.
We're going to burn him at the stake, or are we doing guillotine?
Escalated quickly there, recruiting boomer. I did not think that you were going to go there. 405, I understand there is nuanced differences between schemes, but overall everything is super similar nowadays, so I don't think we need to get concerned about what the system is as much compared to years past. Bob Stoops kind of said essentially the exact same thing to us on Friday, We get caught up in that a little bit too much, and there's different run schemes and things like that, but for the most part, everyone's kind of, running some pretty similar things offensively. But you know what? You know what would be nice next year? I mean, to have an offensive system that can scheme some guys open. How about be a little bit more disciplined offensively next year? You like that idea? Maybe not have delay of game penalties after a fake punt or, false start penalties that put you behind the sticks and kill the momentum of the drive. Hey, I want to scheme wide receivers open too. I want to be better at quarterback. I want better offensive line play. I want a lot of things. I want to be more disciplined next year, first and foremost, please.
I mean, I don't see why that has to wait till next year. I've kind of been here's a zinger from a listener in Colorado. Going to have more Cougars on campus than a sorority alumni party on homecoming.
Let's go. Love it. 405-651-3439. What an active day on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line that we've had. One final segment of Locked In is coming up next right here on the Ref. Horns Down Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural, 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the Yums because Spike was safe, Horns Down Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Horns Down celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Streak, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
60-6764 and schedule an appointment today.
Skip the leftovers and get your game face on at Riverwind.
We're serving big wins and good times all season long.
Play thousands of your favorite games.
And enjoy the best rewards program in the Metro.
The Showplace Theater at Riverwind is the hottest spot for live music.
Don't miss our Digital Dash giveaway every Friday in November.
Play with your wild card to win your share of over $120,000.
The best food, drinks, and service only at Riverwind.
The holidays are approaching, and Balfour of Norman can help you make it a Crimson and Cream Christmas for everyone. Locally owned for more than 45 years, Balfour on Campus Corner has always been a favorite of Sooner fans. For holiday decorating, you will find Christmas ornaments, stockings, Christmas cards, and other decorations, including a 7-foot-tall inflatable Santa. Additionally, Balfour has something for every Sooner fan on your shopping list. Their friendly staff will help you find just the right thing for everyone. With sizes from newborn through adults, there is a great selection of shirts, polos, hoodies, shorts, pants, hats, and even socks. All from great brands like Jordan, Nike, Champion, Antigua, Hype and Vice, and many more. There is also a great selection of gift items like automotive accessories, golf gear, serving pieces, and decorative displays. You can even custom order OU cowboy boots or their newest item, an OU electric bike. So stop by the store on Campus Corner for all the latest and greatest in OU gear, or shop online at crimsonproud.com, where you will find everything Sooner.
At Oklahoma Electric Cooperative and OEC Fiber, being a local cooperative means more than just doing business. It's about building a community. We're owned and operated by people just like you, ensuring that every voice is heard and every decision strengthens us all. A core principle of cooperatives is concern for community. That means we are located here, right in your backyard, creating jobs, supporting local initiatives, and providing you more individualized, reliable service. OEC and OEC Fiber, that's the power of connection.
For years, Auto Image USA has been Norman's place for all your auto accessory needs. But now they have closeout prices on their audio department. Brands such as Pioneer, Kenwood, Digital Design, Power Acoustic, and much more. Stop by because once they're gone, they are gone. 2701 Northwest 36th Street in Norman, or call them today, 405-321-4044, or visit AutoImageUSA.com. Start your weekend off right at Coach's Corner for their legendary brunch. Every Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., you'll love the wings and waffles, catfish and grits, and their outstanding burgers. Then stick around for the ultimate game day experience. With tons of TVs and the coldest beer in town, there's no better place to catch the big game. Join them every Friday at 7 for great live music and great drink specials. And don't miss their live turkey drive on November 24th at 3 p.m. Coach's Corner, located at the intersection of Lindsay and Berry and Norman, where every day is game day.
This is Peggy Doviak, and I opened DM Wealth Management because of a horrible experience that my mother had with a stockbroker. I wanted to give people an alternative, a place they could go to understand their money, to know why investment decisions were made the way they were, and to create a financial plan that would help them meet their goals. Most of all, I wanted to help them plan their prosperity. Call me at 405-329-8884 or dmwealth.com.
Mike Steele here. If you or someone you love been diagnosed with cataracts, well, congrats are in order. Why? Because it's not about just seeing clearly again. It's about a life change. And my man, Dr. B, is here to transform your vision. You could go anywhere for cataract surgery, but why settle? With Dr. B, you've got the chance to not just remove the cataracts, but also to say goodbye to those glasses for good. Give Dr. B a call at 405-755-7700 or visit alcok.com today. Experience the difference with Dr. B and see the world like never before.
David, well, wrong read. Dorsey Jones Buick GMC. Bringing you this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones is family-owned and operated. Established in 2020, but many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. They sell Buicks and GMCs, which are some of the best trucks and SUVs on the road. That's Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Who made $40 over the break? Anyone?
Did we?
Just us? We're the only ones that made $40 over the break? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
K-Dub of Billings Solar Roofing sent in two $20 super chats.
Oh, one apiece, huh? One for each of us?
Yeah, that'd be all right. Here's what K-Dub has to say. Okay. What's the single-day record for YouTube likes you all have had? Let's shatter it today to see if the athletic department values what Sooner fans are saying. Go give these boys a like on YouTube today and a comment saying, quote, change the song. Be looking for your super chat, gentlemen.
Change the song. So we're out on courtesy of the red, white, and blue, huh?
At least K-Dub is. We Sooner fans, the ones who've sold out that stadium for 20-plus years, are unsatisfied with the game day atmosphere being provided. Show us you care by at least changing the third quarter song. The song you all chose should be reserved for the brave men and women of the military. A little How Do You Like Me Now as we are leading going in the fourth quarter will have that place lit. You can thank us later. Sincerely yours, Sooner fans.
Yeah, look, we've had this conversation periodically throughout the year. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, though it is a very meaningful, very patriotic song, it's tough to sing along to. Not everybody knows all the words. There are a lot of words. And look, Oklahoma's done it for every single home game this season. You kind of have to do it against Saturday against Alabama. Like, you can't just bail on it the last game of the year. But I would hope that there is a reevaluation this offseason of really everything that concerns the game day atmosphere in venue at the University of Oklahoma, and that song does need to be replaced. It needs to be changed because if they play that song going into the fourth quarter in week 1 next year, the entire place is going to do one collective eye roll because people don't want it, Tyler.
You know who really loves that song every time it plays?
Who's that?
The visiting fan base in town.
That is true. They
Tennessee fans thought it was awesome.
Tennessee fans sang louder than anybody I've heard all year sing along to that song.
So that's what K-Dub wants you to do. $40 in Super Chat over the break. Thank you for that, K-Dub. Appreciate that. He wants you to go to our YouTube live stream, KREF Sports. Go find Locked In for 11/21/24 and comment, change the song. That's what he paid $40 for. That's what he wants. So what he wants, that's what he gets. Yeah, we'll see if they evaluate that throughout the offseason. A lot of evaluation going on this offseason with the football program, right?
A lot.
Also, a happy birthday out there. It is Dink of Hornsdown's birthday today. Like to wish my older brother a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dink! Hope it's a good one. Hope to see you on Saturday before, during, or after the football game. Hopefully you're in town. Guy from Parts Unknown says, "Ain't no love in Oklahoma" is the only answer. I have heard that song every single road game this year.
Yep.
Either the tailgate, in the stadium, somewhere.
They've used it to troll the Sooners in road games. And they've played it quite a bit at home games, too. Like, multiple times.
Like if the defense is coming out for a drive.
Yeah.
Like they'll Sure.
Frisco Sooner says, "How Do You Like Me Now" doesn't sound that good when you're getting owned. Stick with the song. It's patriotic.
We can't pick a song. We can't pick an offensive coordinator. Got a lot of issues going on. We can't pick a quarterback. People even split on the quarterback for Saturday. Can't make our minds up about anything these days. OU Optimist says, "As an actual veteran, enough with the fake patriotism. Play Metallica, Sanitarium,
Wow.
Make the place go crazy." Thank you for your service, OU Optimist, first off.
Yeah, thank you, OU Optimist. Metallica going into the fourth quarter. That's an interesting
I'd be down for that. Let's
suggestion.
go. Yes, please. Yes, please.
A 405 listener says, "OU needs to go to some NFL games to get ideas on a good/fun game atmosphere."
Not the Cowboys. The Cowboys' atmosphere sucks.
Especially when you're staring into the sun, right?
Yeah, well, Cowboys' atmosphere, I mean, it's like the worst atmosphere I've ever.
Worse than OU?
Well, like the stadium's massive. There's no feel. There's no electricity. It costs so much to go to a Cowboys game, and frankly, I think it's a waste of money to go to a Cowboys game because all they do is break your heart and disappoint you, and I don't think that the atmosphere is all that cool. But that's just me.
Blue Well Sooner says, "QB and the song are both ruined. Move TF on."
Oh, boy. We're in shambles right now. We're in a tough spots.
Cherokee Sooner points out, "As good as I once was would be perfect for this season."
Oh, yeah. Been hearing that for several weeks now. How about Julian Lewis committing to Colorado today? Not that big of a surprise. Committing to Colorado on the Pat McAfee Show. Revealed his choice for CU on Live with Pat today on ESPN. And I guess there was a photo that they took on his visit where Shadur is handing over the keys of the program to Julian Lewis. My question is, that's an incredible get for Colorado.
Yeah.
The best recruiting gets that they've gotten in quite some time because Travis Hunter was a transfer portal get. The biggest recruiting get for CU in a long, long time. What does he do if Dion bolts for the NFL or bolts for another job in college football. I wonder what Julian Lewis does then, because that's clearly the majority of the draw for Colorado at this point is Dion.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Dion's too eager to bounce on. And here's what I respect about Dion and about Colorado. Dion has done a lot less talking this season. It's been a lot less talk and a lot more action. Because last year, you remember he was saying, "Do you believe now?" after they beat TCU in week 1, and then they went 4-8. It's been a lot less talk, a lot less swagger from Dion in Colorado, and they're winning. They're cooking. They got it rolling up there in Boulder.
Last time he talked was when he wouldn't answer the question from the guy at, CBS Sports, because they ranked him as like the second to worst head coach in the Big 12 in some power ranking, whatever. Okay. No, is it Northern Colorado? Yeah, Northern Colorado Sooner. Controversial take. JFA will move on and be on a Bo Nix trajectory.
I can see it. I can very well see that.
Not a lot of people like Bo Nix when he left Auburn. Nah, he's just mid. He's just okay. Bo Nix ain't some great quarterback. And then he got to Oregon, had a really, really good, 2023 last year? 2 years. And then now he's really making some strides in the NFL with the Denver Broncos.
They used to call him Bo Picks down there at Auburn.
Boy, what a nickname. Here's my best guess at quarterback for next year. I would guess that Jackson Arnold is not back.
Okay.
Michael Hawkins is back.
Okay.
And you get a transfer portal quarterback somewhere.
John Mateer?
Yeah, John Mateer or someone else. I would say that we're talking about a portal quarterback in, Michael Hawkins back, Jackson Arnold playing somewhere else. What do you think the likelihood of that prediction is?
I think that's the most likely scenario right now. I would agree that's probably that's what the safe money would suggest.
I would. That's what I think is eventually going to happen. But we'll see. Maybe Jackson Arnold plays well the last 2 games. I don't know. There's just like there's a lot of time for this offensive coordinator situation. There's some time here before the end of the season as well. 2 big games coming up.
Penny from Lake Keystone says, maybe I Love This Bar could be the song since everyone would rather be at a bar.
Great text, Penny.
5-star Randy says, Parker, just name the song. A little less talk and a lot more action.
Mike S. says OU's quarterback for 2025 is not currently on campus. I think that's a real reality, Mike. Yeah,
it's a very distinct possibility. A 405 listener says Jackson Arnold will move on and be on a DJU trajectory.
No, man, I hope not for his sake. Yikes. That did not end up well for DJU.
Doesn't DJ have another year of eligibility?
I feel like everyone has another year of eligibility, so yeah. Except for Danny and Billy. I wish Danny and Billy had another year of eligibility, though they'd be off to the NFL. They're going to have really successful NFL careers, I think. Will from Moore says, no, Metallica is played out in college football. Fight me. Also a veteran. Well, also Will and Moore, thank you for your service.
Oh, gosh. Crap Stealer says, I don't know about OU, but when Jackson Arnold enters the field, they need to play choker by 21
You guys,
pilots.
seriously? Jeez. No sympathy whatsoever.
None. They're vicious.
Golly. Visits this weekend. I did see Caden Henderson, 2027 linebacker out of Tampa. Looks like he's going to be in. I know that's a ways off, but anyone notable in 25, anyone notable in 26 that's expected in?
Yeah, shoot, Tyler. There's a list in the back of my head. I got to pull it to the front of my head. I haven't expended a whole lot of mental energy into getting ready for the visitors that are coming this weekend because, you just kind of resign yourself to the fact that, okay, Oklahoma's going to get hammered, and that's what these kids are going to see. Now, who knows? Maybe Oklahoma pulls an upset and boom, boom, boom. You get commitment after commitment because dudes are like, yep, this is electric. I want in on this. But if we're being realistic, Oklahoma probably doesn't win the game on Saturday. If Oklahoma doesn't win the game on Saturday, what kind of an impression does that leave on the recruits that are in attendance?
You know what's interesting? I feel like our perception of this game locally is a lot different than what the perception is nationally about this game. We had a guest yesterday from Jocks FM in Birmingham, Pat Smith, and he's saying, look, if I would have pulled my Bama fans this morning on my show, they all think it's going to be a very close game played under the number. I read you off 2 score predictions yesterday on 24/7 Sports. They both have OU covering. One, OU losing by 10. Another has OU losing by 11. I saw more predictions today saying, hey, no way I'm taking Bama to cover all those points on the road in the SEC. Give me Oklahoma in those points. So here locally, there may be a thought of, oh, gosh, we're going to get killed. This is going to be awful. But nationally, for whatever it's worth, there's actually a lot of people saying, yeah, OU's got to cover this game and maybe keep this one close. And if they do keep it close, if this is a close game in the fourth quarter, dude, it's going to be an incredible environment and a great showcase for any recruit that's on campus.
It better be. Mike S. says OU's song should be Fix You. Cherokee Sooner says Jackson's theme song is Drop It Like It's Hot.
You guys are just awful, man. Awful. 2-star Chris in Chicago says, if you are feeling bad about OU, well, I'm feeling the same way, and it snowed here. And Chris is going to see that snow for several months now since he lives in Chicago. I'm sure that snow isn't going away anytime soon. 405-651-3439. Still a couple more minutes here for some text. The 105 roster limit, that's a big talking point right now with college football coaches. A lot of those coaches are upset. It feels like mostly because, well, they're going to have to cut some players. And the dreams of guys living out their dream at the University of Oklahoma or Clemson or wherever it is have to come to an end. This is not a very popular rule amongst coaching staffs across the country.
No, it's not. What did Brent call it the other day? Carnage. Gonna have to be a lot of guys that get cut. Gonna have to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations. A lot of walk-ons, too. Like, that's who it's going to affect the most. Because if you can only have 105 roster spots, you're not going through and weeding out scholarship guys. You're weeding out guys that are on the bottom of the roster, guys that are just there to wear the uniform and make other dudes better on the practice field, and they're going to be the primary casualties of this change.
I think Dabo said it's the worst thing that's ever happened in his coaching career. Worst thing ever that's happened in his coaching career.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how bad did Clemson get beat by Georgia last year?
Pretty bad. Definitely week 1 this year they got beat bad by them. I do know that much. K-Ref Recruiter of the Month. We're going to have to decide that soon. I don't know who it is right now. Is it Bill Bedenbow if Michael Fasusi ends up committing to – if he doesn't decommit by the end of the month?
I guess, man, there hasn't been a commitment for Oklahoma since Michael Fasusi on August 21st.
Man, it's been a while. All right, The Rush is coming up next. Bob Stoops will join us today at 4:50. Keep it locked on the Ref. Hornsdown Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the umps because Spike was safe, Hornsdown Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Hornsdown celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Streak, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.